Hello. How's it going? This is welcome to 100% Austin. This is a new podcast. We'll be talking all things from an Austin, Texas native perspective, I guess.
That was probably one of the worst intros I've ever heard for a podcast. You didn't grab them,
you
didn't grab them.
We tried to prep.
Nothing about
but
that
somebody was just getting super mad about us trying to prep.
He's not even invested. He's on his phone right now.
This is going to be a great.
This is going to be a great first episode.
This is going to be a great first episode. All right. So I'm Dennis. This is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
How's it going?
And then last but not least, we have Jordan.
Hello.
And that is about it for him on
That's
this podcast.
That's about all we're going to hear.
That's all we're going to hear from him. So get excited for a lot of that. Anyway, so we're just kind of starting out a podcast here to just kind of talk about stuff that's going on and just entertain you with different topics.
Shouldn't we have opened with a beat of some kind?
Oh, we did. You couldn't hear it.
Oh, okay, good.
So.
I just want to make sure.
Oh my God.
We're still getting our setup right.
Yeah,
so at the moment, only me and Jordan can hear everything that's coming out, and Huggett doesn't hear any of it. So
that's
we
what
have a
people
beat
call
playing,
me.
and he doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Huggett. His name is Daniel.
But you can call me Huggett. Everybody,
We call him
everyone and their mother, including my mother, calls me by that. So, it is what it is.
There's no story behind it. We just call him
Oh,
Huggett.
yeah, there's no story.
Okay, so anyway, we just got through going to...
What is it, Cago Bob's or something?
Did you just say Cago Bob?
Is it cargo or Cago?
Cabo.
Cabo.
Cabo
Okay,
Bob's.
sorry. I honestly, y'all just said let's go to your
So Daniel's never been to Cabo Bob's, and he is an avid Chipotle representer. He loves his
I'm
Chipotle.
a pretty big brand fan for Chipotle. I'm not gonna lie.
I would love to know why you say that.
I don't know. Chipotle's always just been
Trash.
really good.
Trash.
No, not trash. Pretty great. I think the thing that sets Chipotle apart from other burrito places is one, their chicken is it's moist, but it's also like got a lot of
Don't do that
seasoning
again.
on it, so it's really good. Also, their rice is light years away ahead of everyone else. Like that rice is like
Wow.
Light years.
It's
So,
light
so we're
years.
going with a burrito place because of their rice.
Their rice is so good. Like it is literally. It's probably the reason I go. Like every time I go there, like if you ask for extra chicken or whatever, they're gonna kind of be like, oh, fine, I'll give them like 5 extra pieces. But if you ask for extra rice, they dump that on there. So I always ask for extra rice and
So
rice-
Basically, Huggy gets a burrito with just rice.
No, I get the rice.
I will take
chicken.
your rice burrito. He goes there for sushi. Like, just give me some rice.
What?
I mean, and rice is like the cheapest.
He says
thing
it like
there.
there's no problem.
I'm not
Like,
a
what?
huge rice fan, but Chipotle's rice is so good. Went to Cabo Bob's or whatever. It was okay. I wasn't blown away by it. Yes, there's the face. But I mean, it was
At
kind of
least
like
everything you found in Cabo Bob's was real, not tree leaves, not stems from outside.
Not
I'm just-
people's fingers. And
I'm just
thumbs.
saying the
I don't know.
taste wise was good, and that's like compared to Chipotle. I think Chipotle tasted better. That's just me.
Okay, well,
taste
I
buds
went through a
are
similar
I don't
experience.
care.
I was a Freebirds fan. Freebirds
Not
was
a fan
number
of
one
Freebirds.
for me.
They're okay.
Okay, I don't want to hear anything else from you about burritos.
You're gonna hear lots.
No, it's not. No, I don't want to hear it. So I was a avid Freebird lover. So was Jordan, and I would eat Chipotle. I'm not gonna lie, I ate Chipotle mainly because it was close to me. There's Chipotles everywhere, so like, why not? And there's not really a Freebirds close, but I was Freebirds first. For me, it was like because they had queso and refried beans.
Queso.
And then Chipotle comes in with their queso, and it's just garbage.
Yeah, their I don't like cheese.
They should
I
have
don't
done
like
it.
queso, but their queso does look very nasty. Like,
Listen, Peanut Gallery, let him finish the story.
I'm gonna intervene. All right.
Listen.
Listen.
When we're talking about burritos, you shut up. Okay?
I'm
'Cause
not
You said
gonna listen
you
to that
said
at
you
all.
don't like Freebirds, and you don't like Cabo Bob's. So
Have you had Qdoba?
I don't even know what that is.
Qdoba.
Qdoba is, if I had to pick, I mean, knowing what I know now, it'd definitely be Cabo Bob's, Qdoba, Freebirds. But Freebirds burritos are like right under Cabo Bob's.
Well, anyway, so I went to Cabo Bob's one time, tried it out, and so you walk in, you're greeted, you walk up, and guess what? I'm like, where are the tortillas at? Oh, that's right. They press them for you in front of your face. You say, what kind of tortilla would you like? Yeah, that's pretty standard. Most places offer you different kind of tortillas. And then I said, I would like the plain one, just whatever. Like I wanted the
Flour.
clean slate. I just want your flour, buttermilk flour. And they're like, okay. Get a nice little lump of dough, and I'm like, what are you doing with that? Oh, boom! Slams it into this little thing that flattens them out.
Pretty sure Chipotle does that same thing.
Oh yeah, but this is like fresh dough. This wasn't like
Okay, well they don't
already
do that.
made tortillas from who knows where, probably filled
But
with
they
all sorts of.
But when we were talking about the dough, we were talking about if they're pressed or not. And Chipotle presses. I'm pretty sure
They don't
Freebird
press them out
presses
like
them
from
too.
like raw dough though. This is raw dough or whatever masa, whatever it is, and they pressed it and then they slap it on the little like tortilla that put on the comal, and then they just make it fresh. And it's like that's just one little thing that just makes them just kind of tips the scales a little bit. And then you go and you look and then you're like, oh wow, what do I see back there? They got some smokers. They got some high quality meat makers. I don't know.
Meat makers.
You know, whatever.
That's
makes
that's
meat.
the word you're going for.
Meat makers.
You mean like a stove or
meat
a grill?
cookers? How's that? Some quality meat cookers, and you just can tell that it's real.
This
it's
is
not
a
going to make you
rousing
sick.
First segment right here. Shout
Anyway,
out.
overall, I was a fan, and now I go to Cabo Bob's all the time. Got myself a little punch card, and I am on my way to a free
now
burrito
he's-
or T-shirt.
And now he's gunning for that Cabo Bob's sponsorship. So Cabo Bob's, hit us up, please.
Yeah, we have a Chipotle guy here. We would love to see what you could do about that. So, anyway.
They already tried that, and it didn't really.
I just want to let you know
do too
that,
much.
you know, Chipotle's been in the news like all week again for some other people that are sick and stuff. So I'm just saying, like,
Look,
if you want to just choose like life or death, I think you would go with anything
I've
but
seen enough
Chipotle.
for the world. The way I look at it is if I bite the dust from now, it's not gonna really change too much. And I mean, the thing is, it keeps their prices down. So all the sickness is bad PR. They can't go up on their prices. Cheap burritos, I'll take it. Or burrito bowl, I just get the bowl.
Can't take anything if you bit the dust.
Yeah, I mean, I won't have to worry about anything like that. So
Like, how pathetic would you be if you made it all the way to heaven? They're like, "Hey, how'd you get here?" And you're like, "Chipotle."
but, eh.
They
You know,
probably be
there's
like, we understand.
I feel like
And
people
there's like
have,
700 people up there that have died. Well, I don't know if they're in heaven, but I'm just saying, like, they've died from Chipotle.
yeah, I feel like people. I mean, that can't be the worst way to go out. I'm sure someone has gone out in a.
I feel like that's the worst way to
That's-
go.
there's
Like, you're
gotta be
sitting on the
worse ways
toilet
than
and you're
that.
just like, this is it.
There's got to be worse ways, but Chipotle, dying from Chipotle's got to
dying from a
gotta be up
burrito
there.
place.
You're not full. The food wasn't good.
Food's
Now
pretty
you're just
good.
like-
It's like,
No,
did
no.
you choke on the burrito? No.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the next topic we're going to talk about, we're flipping to the next one. We're going to talk about a story that's kind of been in the local news and I guess a little bit in the national news this week is the Austin name change. So basically, for you guys that don't know, there was a report that was filed, I think back in 2015, that suggested that Austin change its name because Stephen F. Austin was like a supporter of slavery, I believe. It was something like that. So
that's about it.
that's the gist of it right there. So
News to me.
news to Jordan. So I mean, what do y'all think about this? If we could change the name of Austin, what would we change it to?
So the first thing that comes to mind is the original name of Austin, Waterloo.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one.
I think going back to Waterloo would be okay. So
to
that
the
was
roots.
the name of Austin before it was Austin, and I mean I'd be okay with that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't think that we need to change the name of our city because of that. But you know, it does. I don't know.
I think to me, I mean, if it was something that directly tied into like the Confederacy, like Lee, or like Jefferson Davis, something like that, then
We live in the South, man. Come on.
yeah,
It's-
I'm just saying, like then okay, you could make that argument, but I just think people are making a lot of hubbubaloo about
But then that also
nothing.
means that you have to change every middle school,
Yeah.
every elementary. that you know how many Robert E. Lees are in the state
No,
of
that,
Texas.
but I'm
You know
saying
what I mean?
no. I'm not saying, but I mean like I could see why there would be more of an argument if it was something like that. I mean, it doesn't. It's
Can
not
it be
a
done though? Like, think about how many things that are out there that like may or may not have been related to horrible things in the past. Not just slavery. I'm saying like anything. Like, are we really willing to just go back now and just change everything? Like,
Yeah.
oh, this building was built by a slave owner activist. You know, like, are we gonna tear down the building? Like, how far
Yeah.
are we gonna go for this?
I
Like,
think-
I'm not against some of it, but like I'm just curious. Like, how far could we go?
I think there's definitely more productive ways to spend our time and money, at least from the city standpoint, like fixing I-35, which has been under construction for ever at this point. Stuff like that would, I think have more of an impact on the city and the community.
Well, who are some people like some Austin like people that we would name the city after? Like Stephen F. Austin obviously was one of the people that helped us get Texas and stuff. But like local Austin, now that we've had some years on our resume, like who do you think we could name the city after?
Well,
we got Willie Nelson.
No, I was just thinking Willie Nelson.
Stevie
Nelson,
Ray
Texas,
Vaughan.
yeah.
Just some music. I mean, the county is Travis County. I mean, Travis has that historical Texas, William B.
but-
Travis.
Is Travis a slave owner?
Yeah, if you
I-
really want to think back, like, okay, how
knows?
far are you going to dip back
I
into?
feel like they were all, not all, but there was a lot of them who had that tie-in right there.
The only difference is if he's like a huge supporter of it. Like
Yeah.
if Stephen F. Austin truly was like trying to fight for slave rights or I mean like fight to keep
Main-
slaves, then that makes it a little more of a case. But
I feel like it's a little too late to ask at
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
point, and it's not like
is it worth it? Like when you think of Austin, like you don't immediately just think of like good old Stephen F. Austin and all of his
Yeah,
slaves.
nobody
like,
thinks about him. Like it's just like, oh, that's the name of the.
it's just a name
the
now.
town.
And I
I'm
think
gonna
after a
say
while you get there.
I'm going to say it because we're all thinking it, and I'm just not going to beat around the bush. The only people that really care about this are the people that are not from here. This has never been a big deal. This has never been a problem until when people started moving around here that are not from here, and everybody gets into their feelings about things that have been set in stone for a long time, and then they want to change.
Yeah.
You're going to go around and you're going to change the school in Nacogdoches? No. I mean,
Yeah.
that's Stephen F. Austin. That's FSU, right?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
SFA, sorry.
I think you said FSU. I was like, Florida State?
Yeah,
I know. I was
say
thinking too. I was like,
FSU.
what's in Florida?
If we're going to do it big, we're going to do it big then.
But you know what I mean? At this point, like, it's too late. Does it matter? No. Do people still go there? Yes. Do minorities go there? Yes. Do minorities live in Austin? Yes. Do minorities go to Robert E. Lee Middle School? Yes. So what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a name. Shouldn't matter,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
People just like to get upset about things. That's kind of the new
That's
have
the new
like
thing.
a faux kind of outrage.
Right.
and
People look for just what can I be upset about today?
It's got a term. I think it's like virtue signaling, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I don't know. I think you're at the point with Austin. Like it's too big. And even then, like when they changed Town Lake to Ladybird Lake, I still call it Town Lake. Like I'm not gonna.
You
That's
know
what we grew up with.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we grew
I
up
say.
with. So it's not gonna. It's not gonna. Even if they change the name, I'm still gonna say, okay, I was born in Austin, Texas. And I think if the locals, locals being a very loose term, I guess at this point, because of all the people who keep moving here.
Man, there's like 10 locals.
10
Think about
locals,
how
and we're-
many
and we're
keep
three.
Austin
We're a third of the
weird
local
shirts.
population.
We would have to change. Like, just think about that. Look, like all these keep Austin weird shirts, we'd have to throw away.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. Is like the amount of money it would cost to change to change all the signs, all the naming. Like it's just not.
It's
a waste of
stupid.
money.
That's a city slogan thrown right out the window.
Yeah, that's more than a slogan. That's like, I mean, think about all the local businesses that have that ties. I mean, the university would have to change its name. Like,
That's our identity.
you say you're from Austin, people know what it is. You say Waterloo, no one knows what the hell Waterloo is.
Granted, though, at one point when we used to say we're from Austin, Dallas, Houston, Austin.
Well, now people
know
We
Austin.
on that. We made it. We on the map.
We're
wish we
definitely on the
didn't.
map now.
I wish we didn't.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
We're
Don't-
we're not ready for that.
Please don't. If you're listening from not living in Austin, please don't move here.
It sucks. Austin is the
It is
worst
the
place
worst-
you can
the
live.
worst
Please
place
don't come
ever.
here.
It's hot. There's traffic.
Standstill traffic. You never get
The
anywhere.
sports teams either are non-existent or they suck. I mean,
Daniel lives here.
I live
like,
here.
You don't want to come
So I mean,
here.
you really just do not want to come. Like it is.
You can go to Pflugerville. That's fine.
Yeah. No,
No.
Well, okay.
That's too close.
That's still like the same thing.
If you want to go somewhere, go to Dallas, Fort Worth, go to Houston.
Oh yeah, go there.
Yeah, those places are empty. I heard.
They've got sports teams. They've got Dallas DFW has good transit. Like
Oh, yeah.
I hear they'd love for people to move there. So please, or I hear Oklahoma City's great too. If you want to move there, like great place to start a family.
Hey, I'm okay with that actually. Like Oklahoma City needs to be more on the map. It needs to build up because I need some more players to want to be able to come
No one
to
wants to
Oklahoma
play
City
with
Thunder.
Russell Westbrook. No one wants to play with him.
Yeah, I'm
All
an
right.
OKC fan. Just saying.
All right. So next up, we're going to talk about the soccer team that is going to be not moving to Austin, but it's going to be, I guess, being established in Austin. So there's been a lot of talk about an MLS team moving here, and I believe that it's confirmed that it's going to be happening. But there is another soccer team that is going to be, coming to Austin. But basically, it's MLS. The soccer system in the United States works very similarly to like a lot of the other sports leagues, where you have a major league and you have a minor league, and with that, there's going to be a minor league soccer team pretty much moving into Austin. It's going to be called the Austin Bold. So for me, I mean, Jordan, what do you think? I mean, is Austin really that much of a soccer hotbed where we can take two soccer teams when we've had literally we've had kind of like one.
We had one
tentatively-
like minor,
like a-
minor major, if you will. I don't know. Back in the day when we had the Aztecs, I mean, I honestly kind of remember going to maybe 1.5 games where the half was definitely just me standing in the parking lot talking with friends. But I think that was more pure of I have no idea where I am. But honestly, at this point, we kind of talked about it off podcast. Where we're at the point where if we tried to get a pro or even semi-pro soccer team here, it's definitely going to have to compete with a lot of other things in Austin. We're known for being a big college town, a big college city, excuse me, and to have to come in to now promote either semi-pro or pro, that's opening a whole new avenue for those kids that are that use that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if you're a soccer player and you're trying to go to college now, but now you have a semi-pro team or a pro team in that same city where you're trying to go to school.
Yeah.
I'm trying to skip that avenue and go straight. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, you're not doing it. Well, the thing is too, I don't know if even like men's like college soccer is really a huge thing in the United States. I know a few teams will have like men's soccer teams,
Right.
But I just feel like with this, it's like I get the MLS team, but do we really need? I mean, how many cities have a minor league and a major? Like a big major league team of the same sport in the same city. Like,
Right.
can you? Are there any other ones? Do you know of any? Like, I'm sure maybe LA has something, but
to me, I'm not too sure. Well, personally, I'm not too much into soccer, but I will say it could benefit, but it could be one of those things that turns into a money sucking vacuum.
Yeah.
Where it's either going to, for the first, maybe year or first few months, everything seems gravy and, you're bringing in revenue, you're getting crowds and everything's going well, but then either you're going to hit a wall where people start to favor the pro and people don't pay attention to the semi-pro, or, someone's going to take that L.
yeah, it can't sustain too. What do you think about the name, the Austin Bold? I personally think
like that.
You like that name? I think it's weird, but
I listen, from years of like playing Madden and like NBA and like on video games, and like you would create your own team. I'd always create Austin something, like an Austin team. And that was the hardest thing, was like, what would we call ourselves? Obviously, the first one that comes to mind is like Austin Armadillos, because that's like our state thing, Austin Armadillos. But that sounds stupid. So like, Austin bold.
Austin
I'm not mad
bold.
about that.
Yeah, but what's the logo gonna be? Like, are you gonna like have Austin in bold?
It's got
Yeah.
here. I'll see if I can find it.
I like that.
It's like it's like a teal B with like a yellow like outline.
So kind of explain.
That I like that logo.
You like that logo?
To me,
I would
that
wear
looks
something
like,
with that.
I don't know. To me, that looks like a
Our fierce competitors, the San Antonio Italics, like,
Italics. San Antonio as a soccer team, I feel like,
and the
don't they?
Houston underlined.
The underline, yeah.
I feel like we're gonna get real grammatical with like this soccer team. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. It's if they can come up with a solid mascot, then sure, maybe.
Do soccer teams have mascots? Is that? I don't
Not
even
even
know.
sure.
I feel
Not-
like they might. I feel like in the United States they probably do. In Europe, I would be surprised if they did.
I feel
Hey.
like that's backwards. I feel like in Europe they definitely, you know what I mean?
You
Because
think-
it's
I mean,
like
it's bigger.
more cultured, like where it's like how we do football and baseball, where it's like everybody comes together for this one thing.
All the soccer fans out there are just fucking mad.
They're
Probably.
pissed right now. They're like these guys have no idea what
I will
they're
be the
talking
first
about.
to admit I don't pay attention to
You know
soccer,
what?
and
But I
don't.
am willing to give soccer a chance. This is what this podcast is about. We are from Austin. We don't know soccer. Like we know football,
I have 2 years
basketball.
of high school soccer myself. I was
We know high
honorable
school
mention
soccer. That's
senior
what we
year.
know.
Honorable
we
mention.
know
Just wanna point that
football,
out.
we know basketball, and we know baseball.
Do we know baseball though?
I don't know baseball.
I don't really pay attention to baseball.
I can tell you about hockey. That's
Yeah,
about it.
he knows hockey. So
Which is weird because most Austinites don't know hockey, but
hey, no, the Stars are a big deal. A lot
That's
of people,
true.
A lot of people pay attention to the Stars.
well, I think
The
there's going to
Austin
be a
Stars.
lot of soccer fans once this happens.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm willing to
There
give it a
are-
shot. I don't have any problem with it. I've always been like one of the people that's like, how can you sit and watch a soccer game? Like, there's just not enough scoring going on. But
I will say
it's exciting. I've
The
watched
only-
the World Cup. It's exciting.
the only soccer game that I've ever watched, and I was actually wanting more, was I was in college and I watched a kid get kicked in the face on a bicycle kick, and that would like it blew my mind. I was like, man, I want more. Soccer's the best.
Yeah, the bloodlust kicked in.
I think the guy was like, I was going for the ball and I just kicked you in the face by
He
accident.
felt bad. And it was just like, no, don't feel bad. Feel good.
You see that, but then the next instant, you see a guy that just gets tripped and acts like he broke his leg in half.
Yeah, he flops. I mean, that happens, I feel like, in most leagues. So the last thing with this story, and this is the thing that, it's kind of hidden in the cracks, but it's really funny, is that this team has plans to sign Usain Bolt, the world's fastest man. So apparently he's trying to start a soccer career or something. So
Well, I think this is a great topic to move into our next one because
jeez Louise.
Jordan has seen a lot of people at the airport.
I've actually seen Usain Bolt before.
You've seen Usain Bolt?
Yeah. I didn't realize who he was, and I was talking to him for a little bit, and I
How tall is he?
it's about like 6'5", 6'6".
He's a big man.
He's tall.
My goodness.
But I like looking at him, and I was like, man, who's handing like this raggedy piece of paper? And I'm like, oh, that's your passport. I was like, you need to get another one of these, man. Like things falling apart, like held on by 2 stitches.
Jordan works at the airport, by the way. That's how he knows. People aren't just handing him passports at the airport.
Just randomly handing out passports.
I just happened to be standing by the bathroom one day, and the guy was like, "Can
Hey,
I go
man,
in here?" I just
this is a good passport? He just hands it to you.
told him he needed ID to use the urinal. But let's say 2 days ago, yeah, I happened to see Chris Bosh, and I really didn't realize it. The big thing for me is I don't pay attention to a lot of these people until the last second. When I saw Mike Epps, Ice Cube, those like some of the bigger names you can like tell from a distance, but I mean like okay, that
You
sounds
saw
bad.
Alec Baldwin too,
Yeah.
and you didn't even know who it was.
That went right over my head until somebody was like, "How'd it feel?" And I was like, "What? How'd what feel?" They're like talking to someone famous. I was like, "What are you talking
He
about?"
had no idea.
They're like, "You were talking to Alec Baldwin," and I swear every conversation is the same. Did you play football? Yes. Defense? Yes. like. I don't like. I'm like okay. Like you keep having a good day, man. Just keep going.
Get
You
outta
know?
here. I'm
You're
just
like,
trying-
you just told Alec Baldwin to get out of here.
Like they're cool. They're like so down to earth. They're so chill. But Chris Bosh was probably the funniest thing. Like I never had to look up at somebody, but like,
That's
I
a
walked-
guy that you're like this. Like even if you don't know who he is, you're like this is somebody.
This is someone. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like imagine like everyone else that's out there You just see like this tower, like
How
a
t-
moving tower.
How tall is he?
I'm an exaggerator.
Is he like 7 feet? Or
I think he's like probably 6'11".
He's
So
one
you
of the
gotta
6'11"
7 feet.
guys.
Okay, well think of this. Kevin Durant is
He's 7 feet.
he's 7 feet.
He's 7 feet. He lies about.
I
his
think
height.
he's 7. I think Chris Bosh is 7 feet.
He's got to be like 7'1" or something. But
We'll look this up.
either way,
This is the
I
internet
looked up,
age.
and then I'm just hearing like I see an
6'11".
army of like kids. So it, we're like talking to them, helping them out, or whatever the case may be, and like I guess the thought in my head is like, man, like I know there's no way, no chance, but if I can, I dunk on you. I like whispered it under my breath, like, listen, man, I'll take you out 1-on-1 right now.
Wow.
But I mean, it's one of those things. Like some of them are super cool. Like what's his name? Matthew McConaughey. He's super cool. He's super down to earth. He'll sit there
yeah.
and talk to you for a while.
He seems like it.
Don't you have a flight to catch, man?
Man, I'm so mad. I went to UT and I never got to meet Matthew McConaughey. And apparently he was there all the time.
He was a professor, I'm pretty sure, wasn't he?
He was a professor too. And like the crazy thing is like they wouldn't tell you what class it was for, so you like it was I don't know if it was a surprise. Well, I mean, I was in RTF. He like taught for the RTF school. And I don't think he was like a professor like every day, but like he definitely would like come in every now and then and do something. And I don't know, but there's a lot of people that I knew that like met Matthew McConaughey at UT, and it was there. Everybody says he's like super nice guy, super cool guy. Like that's I'm yeah. He's one of those guys that like has a philosophy for everything. Like you could just talk about like, man, I just like. I'd wreck my car, and like he would give you like just this philosophy on it.
You just
like,
feel that like.
well,
hand on your
man,
shoulder.
like, all right. Let me tell you something, man. That car, it's just like love, man. You say something like that, and just give you something to think about. Like,
But it sounds good when it comes out
It
of his
sounds
mouth.
so good.
I wonder if he was like. I wonder if that's like by design, or if he's just like, all right, let me see if I can spin this into some kind of bullshit that someone will believe.
But it probably is. But it sounds so good. Like it
Your
doesn't matter what
everyday
he
life
says.
is like a Cadillac commercial.
Oh, Lincoln.
Lincoln,
Excuse
you're
me,
on the right
sorry.
track.
You were on the right track, yeah.
It's just like
Sorry.
try and just BS it, and he goes home to his wife and is just like, honey, I made up stories for 4 different things and told the 4 different.
He's like, honey, you wouldn't believe what I just told these people today.
I just spun.
They thought I was talking about something. Man, he made me think twice about getting a Lincoln when he drives it, man.
Of Lincoln.
Just over there rolling up a booger while he's driving, like doing this whole thing. Man, I was like, man, I want to roll up a booger in a Lincoln right now.
Yeah,
That's the only car you could do that and look cool.
that's how they get you too.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I just got him confused with the guy from the Men's Warehouse commercials, and he's like, "You're gonna like the way you look."
That guy, I guarantee
I
it.
guarantee it. I used to get that guy confused with the Dos Equis guy. They kind of look the same.
They do. I know
right?
exactly what
I
you
thought it
mean.
was the same guy. I miss the Dos Equis guy.
Yeah,
man.
the new guy is not nearly.
Yeah, he's not even like Hispanic. He's French.
Stay Thursday,
Fact
mi
check,
amigos.
the last Dos Equis guy was actually Jewish.
Yeah, he wasn't anything, but like you could tell. Like he said, like be thirsty, my friends. Like he sounded like a white dude. The new guy, like they made him. He's French. Like has nothing to do with anything. I think he's French, either that or Portuguese from
Something.
But he's not like Latino. Like he's definitely something else. And I mean, whatever.
I'll still drink those.
I don't look at him though, and I'm not like, man, that's the guy. I want to buy a beer because that guy drinks beer.
Yeah, it's like nope. That doesn't. I don't think really any alcohol commercial like gets me to buy. I mean, the only ones that I'd say like are good. I like the Shiner commercials are really funny. Like I feel like they've done a good job.
They're good.
with
You know
those.
what? I actually watch Corona commercials, and they make me want to drink a beer because they always talk about find your
on a
paradise,
beach
and
or
it's like on a
something,
beach,
yeah.
and I'm like, hell yeah, I want to be there. Like I love drinking a Corona on the beach. Like if you've done it, it's the best.
Never done
It's
it.
hot, sandy.
It's not cold.
Yeah, but you want a cold Corona when you're on the beach.
but you're on a beach. Like there's nothing cold about a beach.
You bring an ice chest and you fill it with ice and you put these in here and you pop them out and they're like they
if
got
the-
a little bit of ice in there.
All-
Always,
ice melts,
but they
though.
also show it like you're the only one on the beach. Have you ever been to a beach?
There's like 1,000 people.
Yeah,
They just
somebody's
That's-
running
that
by. you got
has
sand in
nothing
your
to do with
now.
Corona.
Yeah, like, I'm pissed.
That has nothing to do with Corona.
Either way, it's painting horrible
I'm not a big beach fan.
I had
either,
Shiner
to be honest
at
with
the
you.
beach, and it wasn't as good. Shiner for me, like dark beers, I like in the wintertime, and then light beers I like during the summertime.
Why? So it warms you up? I don't understand. Like that just doesn't make
Dark
sense. to
beers
me.
just have more of a rich flavor
You
that
are-
I
you a
like
beer
during
snob?
the winter.
Yes,
I am
yes,
not
you
a
know.
beer snob.
He kind of sounds like it.
You know,
I can believe it.
Is there something
If
wrong
it's
with
the
that?
fall
Got
time,
the
I think
little
that-
legs
I don't. I
crossed over here,
don't. I don't drink. I don't drink IPAs.
I only drink IPAs.
I don't
My name
drink
is
IPAs.
Dennis.
I hate IPAs.
IPAs are disgusting. Like I know there's some people who hype them up. Like oh, they're so.
Do you know
great.
how many people I know that like drink IPAs and act like they're into IPAs, but I know they don't like them at all. They just drink them because it's like
I
a
feel
status
like
symbol.
it's like a social like
And they hit you
identity
with the
kind of
swirl.
thing.
And then like when they get home, they drink like apple teenies and like super fruity drinks.
Listen, I'm gonna be the person that like goes out. Let me get a natty light,
Yeah.
a Miller Light. Like
No, I'm like literally. If I go to 6th Street, I'm like Lone Star all the way.
But
If
that's
it's
different
cheap-
because you're gonna drink light beers because you want to last longer through the night. Like you don't want to get like wasted right
or you
away.
could just not be a lightweight.
That's true, but some people aren't. And I'm saying the people that aren't, I don't have any problem with you drinking a light beer, even if it's a super cheap one, because that's the thing too. They're cheap.
Yeah.
And you want to be drinking for a while, you're gonna get cheap drinks. I'm gonna get, a whiskey Coke, and I want your house cheap whiskey. Like that's what I want.
I stopped asking. I just got to the point where I was like, "This is what I want. I don't care what you pour in it. Just give me the drink."
Yeah.
Cause you're balling.
Negative.
No.
It's just like it depends on what kind of mindset you're in. If you're like pre-gamed beforehand, where you're like, I'm at that point, like, it's whatever.
You're feeling it.
You know what I mean? At the beginning, I'm like, listen, we might do a couple beers before we start doing
Oh
something
yeah,
else.
you have to.
But
Right. If you're pre-gaming though, that's when you go with shots because like you're trying to get yourself in the mood to like, or like not in the mood, but you're trying to get yourself in the zone before you go out.
So that Uber ride down there.
If you
is
drink
enjoyable.
beers when you're pre-gaming, you're failing. Like, you don't
I
do that.
definitely drink beers sometimes.
I do
I
too,
mean-
but you got to mix it with liquor. You
Oh,
got to have
yeah,
some
yeah,
liquor.
for
you
sure.
can pre-game with beer. But I think it's in like out of my college experience. Every time that we pre-gamed with beer, we were playing like some kind of party game. So you're like
That's fine.
constantly
That's fine.
chugging. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not. Oh, let me sit and crack this beer and sip. You know what I mean? And keep going. Like then you're like, I'm not really feeling drunk. But the more you're like having to constantly like chug beers, then you're like all hitting you at one time. They're like, okay, like now we need to just go so I can go ahead and keep this buzz.
By the way, just want to point it out there. We do not condone drinking under the age of 21. Just want to point that out.
We are all 15 years
for
old
any
and we are
potential
drinking right
sponsors
now.
out there. No,
Just kidding.
no drinking under 21.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I lived in Wisconsin.
I think
for
that the
7
drinking age
years.
should be moved down to 18.
You think so?
I'm gonna say it right there.
I feel like enough people do it under 21 that like it
I will say it like
should.
this, and I heard this philosophy. So when I lived in Wisconsin, a lot of kids that I met, or a lot of people in general, they were introduced to it young.
Mm-hmm.
So like as like children, their parents would let them drink with them at dinner or whatever the case may be. So it desensitized them
Yeah.
to it. So by the time they actually were in those like mischievous quote unquote years of like being out of high school or getting, about to graduate your senior year, they weren't like, oh, let me go get real like twisted.
right.
Because they're like, okay, well, I mean, I do that Friday night with my, parents at dinner. Like we drink or whatever the case may be. So it's not as like you had either the two ends of the spectrum where kids never drank and then they get to college and they're like,
go
I'm going
crazy.
Yeah, they just take the leash off and say, all right, do
Right.
whatever you want, and then they have no idea. They haven't been exposed to
Right.
it, so they don't know how to handle it. I guess,
Right.
and that happens. I feel like with a lot of people who go off to college. I mean, if you're not introduced to it and kind of eased into it, then you're gonna go off the rails, and the parents can be like, oh, what happened? We thought we raised you better than this. Well, yeah, but you didn't. It's kind of like, and you have like a disease.
Wow, drinking's a disease now.
Well, no, drinking is not a disease.
I'm hurt.
But like, when you get a disease, if it just like comes on you all at once, like your body's not going to know how to defend itself. But if you have a vaccine and you put a little bit of it in there, then it's going to be.
I just have one thing. When you're 18, you can go die for your country, but you can't have a beer.
You can in Afghanistan.
All All right, I guess that settles my
That settles the issue.
That settles my point. Never mind.
Never mind.
If you get stationed anywhere where you could drink at 18, then you're
I mean,
good to go.
honestly, like people.
No,
that
no,
get
but actually,
deployed, like,
no.
you know
But
what I mean?
actually, when you're on the base, I think you still have to follow.
Yeah, when you're on base, but I
Yeah.
mean, like if
Who
you go
drinks?
when you're not on a fob, if you go out like and you're say you get deployed out to Germany before you get or somewhere over in Europe before you get sent over to the Middle East, like Europe's what drinking age? You just were there. Their drinking age is what?
It's like someplace. Germany is 16.
So you know what I mean? If you're getting, you got deployed in your first part of it, you're over here, or you're coming back from deployment. You turn 19 or 20, you're like in that in between stage, and now you're in Europe before you come back stateside. People are going crazy. Or you can go like my cousin got deployed out to North Korea. Sake bombs like crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
But like it all depends on the demographic where you're at. Also those other chains that I'm not going to talk about. But
Right.
You kind of know what I'm trying to say.
The first time I got drunk, I was in Mexico, and I was maybe 14 years old, and like that I think is an example of what happens to college kids. Like I drank before I went to college, so like I think I knew how to handle it. But the first time I drank, I went crazy. Like me and my two cousins tore up a bottle of tequila, and we're like throwing up in the pool. We were like at a Acapulco resort.
Wow.
We were throwing up in the pool. We were like hitting on like guys' daughters. Like the next day, like we went out back to the pool bar and talked to the bartender. We're like, what happened last night? And we were like 14 years old. And we were like, what happened last night? And he had to like tell us everything. He's like, yeah, this guy, like you were hitting on his daughter, and he was like all mad at you and like was one like. And we were in like another country too. Like I'm from Mexico, so like we could like talk Spanish and stuff. But it was like, you don't have any preparation for that. Like you have to be like, I think that's why you kind of have to get accustomed to it too. Because like once you get drunk, like some people don't realize like you're drunk right now. Like that's you need to stop. Like,
Oh yeah,
go
no.
home.
The first couple times, like you
learn your limit.
You have no idea. Yeah, well, I think you have to develop it. Like,
Yeah,
too. Like
I
know
agree with
for
that.
me, I used to be. I mean, I still kind of am a lightweight, but I used to really like one beer and I'm wasted.
I know you're one beer right now and you got to use the bathroom. but-
No, okay, I haven't broken the seal yet, so we're fine.
Well,
But-
it's I agree with that too, but it also has to do with like I remember like I'm a kind of person that like for some reason like my weight fluctuates a lot. Like I'll go from like 200 to 180 sometimes. Like that's just I don't know why my body is, and like I'll go through periods of time where like for some reason I can just like hammer drinks down and I'm good, and then there's some other times where like I'm like, why am I drunk already? Like I won't be drunk, but like I'm like, why am I feeling this already? Like.
Yeah.
And then eating too makes a big difference
Eating
for
makes
me.
a difference, yeah.
I think
a lot-
it's for everybody.
I think it fluctuates though. So like I agree with what you're saying, Dennis, and I agree with what you were saying, Hugget, because I knew a guy that was 6'6", 390, offensive guard, 6 beers, he was toasted. He was out.
Yeah.
Like
6-pack and he's
you know what I mean? He was gone. But, then you get like me, I never drank until I went to college. So my freshman year, that's when, if you don't know, Wisconsin is a huge drinking
Yeah.
state. Like
Right. I didn't know that until
I had
Jordan
a-
told me.
I had a
should
kid
have
from
known.
Wisconsin come down and ruin my last birthday.
Honestly.
So,
I
shout
was
out to
there
him.
and it sucked.
Like
Yeah.
literally the motto for them sometimes is win or lose, we booze. So like that was like coming into that was completely different for me. And
That's a shocker. That's like jumping into a cold pool.
man, I'm telling you, like so
Very
you're
cold,
literally like, do you drink? Not really. Boom. Here we go. We're gonna find out your limit. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, like I found out I was a tank, but the more as I got older, the kind of the less it
The
became.
shock,
Yeah.
It's I couldn't
You build a
do that
tolerance
too much.
for it. It's kind of like I've heard people that like smoke weed like have that same thing where like they build up a tolerance for it, and then they just have to smoke a
Yeah.
whole lot. I think it's the same way. I mean, like when you see like alcoholics, like they like actual alcoholics, like they pound them.
Right, but then I think they become functioning, so they learn how to function while what I'm
True.
saying?
There's some
Yeah,
people that
so-
say they function better when they're drunk.
Yeah, they use
I
suppress.
don't want to argue that and see how true that is, but
It is
It's
easier
a
for you to
case
learn
study.
something when you're drunk, though.
yeah. I heard the argument too. Like, there's always the argument between like weed versus beer and like which one is worse. And there's some people that say like when you're drunk, like you can kind of control that like a little better than when you're high. Because if you're high, you're just high, like, and then you're done. Like there's nothing you can do about it except for like sleep. And then there's people that like drink and they say like I can drink water, I can eat some food, and I can like pass that off. Like it'll,
Right.
I won't.
Probably
Be
depends
all right.
on the person.
But I think
so.
the problem too is then you're talking about next day. Next day, you're gonna feel like crap if you like drank a lot. You're gonna have a hangover or whatever. If you smoke weed, the next day you wake up, you might just be hungry. Like that's the difference too. And like I don't know. Like I was kind of like wondering too. Like I know like we live in like a super what is it? Red state is red.
Yeah, red is.
We live in a red state, but like Austin's super blue. Like how many years from now do you think it'll be till like weed is legal in Austin,
The way
in
they're
Texas?
moving right now, the way they're moving right now.
But a lot of people
It's
are
not
saying
gonna
like
be-
in the next 2 years, like weed is gonna be legal.
I think that's. I mean, that the thing is with that battle is it's already over. Like, I mean, it's going to be legal. It's just a matter of when. I don't know like how many states have adopted that.
California, Colorado,
I think that's Washington.
Washington.
I feel like,
I actually heard that I think Oklahoma
Oklahoma
has
has too.
legalized at least medical marijuana.
Medical, yeah. I mean, so it's moving that direction.
And that's Oklahoma. Like they're
Oklahoma's
probably
pretty-
more red than we are.
Yeah, they're pretty red, and not just Sooner red or crimson. Or
I
whatever.
personally like I think that it should be. I don't see the problem. I see medical benefits for it. Like
I think as long as you restrict it in a similar way to alcohol, like don't do it while driving, don't do it like in public, like crazy like that. As
Right.
long as you're
just give it the same rules that alcohol has.
Yeah.
And I think you got something that works.
yeah, I mean at least from what I've heard, there's not really too many negative side effects to it. So it's like I think the battle's over. It's just a matter of okay, when is the losing side going to concede defeat?
So sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
It is 17 total for medical marijuana broadly legalized, and 8 total for marijuana legalized for recreational use.
Yeah, so it's moving right along. Then.
Do you think we should keep it like state, or should we move it federal and
thing.
be like federal? Boom,
Here's
just
the thing.
everybody's got it legal.
Because that's the thing, where you get to these states where people are like, look, I got a medicinal card, I can smoke. Okay, but even if you have a medicinal card and you're going to visit your buddy in a state, now you're transporting. You're federally.
That's the weird thing too, because a lot of times like you go to one state and then you travel to the next one over, and like half the time you may not know like if it's legal or not, and it's like it's crazy that you can move from like 10 feet to the other direction and all of a sudden like you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that's kind of tough. Like I'm all for like state rights over federal rights. Like I think there's a lot of things that should be up to the states. But that's one of those things that just makes it tricky because you just don't know. Like you could go from one place to the other.
Well, literally, it's at this point where it's if you're not in the state lines of wherever those between the 17 and the 8 states, you're now breaching federal law.
The other thing too is like if I decided like, hey, I want to go to Denver and just like try some edibles or something like that,
You can
and then
go
like I
there.
come back, it's still in my system, and if I get drugged, like they check me like at my job or something, like
Right, that's
what
different.
happens.
That's different because then you're held up to your jobs code. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like now it's in
right,
your
but I
system.
didn't smoke it or eat it in Austin.
Right, but the only way that could matter would be is if you're not employed by that employer and you smoke or eat it in Colorado, and then you come back and then get a job. Then if you're already employed by them,
Then I have to abide by the
you're
rules.
having
yeah,
to abide.
okay,
you know
that
what
makes
I'm saying?
sense.
Because it's the same way of if
No, that makes sense to me. Like I get that. Like as long like you're like when you sign your job, you're under contract with that job to follow their rules. So it doesn't matter where you go, you have to follow those rules.
Right.
That makes sense, regardless if it's legal. Like my company may be like, hey, like we don't want you like posting on social media about whatever. Like that's not against the law, but it's still something I have to abide by. So
Right.
like in the same way, okay, I get that. That makes sense. But
what makes it tricky for folks. 'Cause
that's
then
why
you
it's
get-
tricky though.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going on vacation, or I'm being transferred for a specific stint
True.
to this place, and then your outside you is different from work you.
That's true. There's probably a lot of companies that are based or have branches within like Denver or something like that. and they probably still drug test,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
and it's legal. So it's weird. It's weird. There has to in that sense there has to be like an overarching like this is the decision.
Consistency. Yeah.
There has to be
I feel like it's. I mean, I couldn't find anything on the internet, but I know there's definitely a division in certain areas that like states have oversight over, and the federal has oversight over. And you know,
The Carolinas are like that.
yeah, my history teacher and my government teacher can be so mad that I don't remember this, but whatever, it is what it is. I feel like it's probably more of a state issue, just based off of what I vaguely remember about it. So I mean, I think the state should get the call rather than the federal government. And again, anytime we can take power away from the federal government, let's do that.
I agree. I agree, but I just think it's harder with this one. Like this is one of the things where like it kind of I feel like needs to be set in stone that way, where it's like we all agree on this, and we're never gonna all agree on this, but at least a majority. And I think at this point the majority has agreed, but maybe not. I don't know.
Wasn't prohibition a federal thing?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
So I think honestly, before you because I kind of think I know where you're going to go with that.
Yeah.
Or if you federally tax this, then it's one set of thing. Federal now has its, I won't say grasp
about
on it,
taxing.
but they have a hold on it. You know what I mean? So now it's up to the state to deter and defer it as far as how you want to, set the pricing and how you want to do, because then you're keeping it controlled, and it's quote unquote in the right hands. You know what I'm saying? Between here's 50 in the state, here's 50 in the federal. We can tell you this is how much you're able to do with it. Okay, now we're going to control the pricings and the outputs of it. What counties, or you know what I mean, what cities, whatever the case may be, deep down. I think then you're able to move forward and be able to sprout, and less trouble happens. Because if we leave it on, let's put 100% on the state. Okay, well, this state they want to use marijuana this way. Now, if something really popped off, you're looking at like a monopoly style with one state. Now the federal government saying, we can't control that because they have all the power. So how are we supposed to see something if they have all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
kind of get
it's-
what you're saying.
it has to be a little bit of a give and take, and then it also third party. They always talk about the war on drugs. It takes away that, because now you know what I mean. We're doing it in house.
Yeah.
We're taxing it, and we're distributing.
Once you bring the money into it, it just totally it changes the way that you could look into it.
I mean, like, I'm just kind of wondering, like, if we could ever, like, all come to agreement, at least on, like, let's say just medical. Like, let's start baseline. Like, just medically, can we, like, approve of this? Because I think if we can get, like a doctor group that just, like, all agrees on it, like, representative group, then, like, we can at least get that part passed and then move from there and see how that works for the whole U.S. Like,
Yeah, I
does
think
that
so.
work? Okay, then let's move on to the next one.
yeah,
Like,
do it bite-sized
let's
parts.
go
Don't
step by
eat
step.
the whole sandwich.
As bad as this sounds, I'm gonna quote South Park. So it's kind of like the South Park episode where they legalized marijuana, and everyone's out there trying to get the medicinal card, where they're doing whatever they can to do. I think Stan's dad gives himself
Cancer.
cancer
Yes,
to
I was
get
just
the
thinking of that
medicinal
episode.
card. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
So
exactly
like
what episode
then it
that is.
becomes it's also based on regions. How do you protect? Say the whole 50 states passes a bill for medicinal marijuana. How are you going to produce it? Where are you going to produce it? How is it going to stay controlled and stay saved? You know what I mean? Because now it's only saying it's only for the people that are sick. So now you're putting it on a higher pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
You can only reach that if you got this. Okay. Well, you know what I mean? So now you're kind of like, you put it on a pedestal, but you cut off the bars in between. And now there's like, you drilled a hole in the middle of that seat.
Mm-hmm.
So something's going to seep down eventually. So it's kind of one of those give and takes in those
Yeah.
iffy situations.
I think in general this is something that, and like a lot of things, like you'd think there would be a simple answer to it, but it's neither white or black. It's gray, like a lot of things. And I feel like people in general, like they want to think, okay, everything is this is right, this is wrong. There's an easy simple solution to it. And the reality of it, and these are complex problems in a very complex world that you're not going to figure out within a day, a week, a month, or even a year. I mean, these are going to take it takes a long time to figure out, okay, one, what's the right answer, and two, as a species, as a civilization, do we want to pursue that right answer, or do we want to do the other thing? And even then, if it's the right answer, who's it right for? It's not what's right for one group or person isn't going to be right for everybody. So I don't know. Good stuff.
I think that's a good note to kind of end it on. I think that was a well said.
Yeah. On a lighter issue, so this is actually this is something that we were kind of joking about earlier, and I read earlier in the week. But I'm sure most, if not everybody who's listening, all 5 of you have heard of the game Fortnite.
Or yeah.
So all 5 of you, 3 of which are going to be us re-listening to this after we do it. But basically, so Fortnite is a free-to-play game. You basically get plopped into an arena.
Battle Royale,
it's a battle royale. So you want to be the last person out of 100 people.
If you haven't heard of
standing.
this game,
You're living under a
step
rock.
out.
Yeah, people who don't even know anything about video games know about this game. But basically, it's very big, and it's become so big that parents are paying as much as $35 an hour for Fortnite coaches to coach their kids on how to be better at the game. The big reason why is, they hoping that these coaches will lead to college scholarships, esports careers, or prize money in tournaments.
Okay, I'm sorry. So the college scholarship comes from what?
The college esport team, maybe. I mean, esports are getting to be a big.
Yeah, no, I have
thing.
nothing against that. I think if you can make your money doing that, then go. By all means, make your money.
Do it.
Obviously, we're okay. Give
We got the sour
We
face.
got a sour face from Jordan. Why?
No, I'm listening. Sorry.
That's the sour face.
And this is the guy that probably plays Fortnite more than any of us.
Yeah.
Listen.
I'm going to say it. I've said it once. I'll say it 1,000 times. I play games to play and talk crap to my friends. I get online because my friends are online. Now, I'm not the type of person that I get off of work, no one's on, I'm going to put my headset in and talk trash to other people. I am not that good. I will automatically let you know I am not that great, okay? But
You need to stop because you're hurting your resume to be a
Yeah,
Fortnite
your
coach.
esport
You could
career could take off because of this podcast.
listen, I'll teach you how to rush. You hear those words,
Rush.
send it, you just go.
You go in for the high octane action. Is that
All right,
is that
moms
what
out
this
there,
is?
if you need a
Always.
Fortnite coach, hit up Jordan. He can teach you everything you need to know.
I've
And-
got
About
some
how to-
friends that
about
can
how to
teach you.
rush
No,
in.
no. Jordan's going to help you, and all that money is going to go right back into this podcast. Okay, so
So
Jordan,
donate.
I need you to stop talking like you're not good because we all know that you're the best at Fortnite.
Yeah, the future of the podcast depends on you, Jordan.
You're right.
All the
Listen,
responsibility on your shoulders.
$35 an hour.
An hour, not just one session.
You're talking, but the sessions are probably not that long.
I mean, it's probably like
It's
the
not like a
games
full
can
work
be
day.
like
even if you do
20
like 1
minutes.
hour a week. I mean,
I'm not complaining. I'll take $35 an hour to just sit there with a
That's
kid and
just-
say, "You're doing a great job, buddy." Like I'll do
Oh,
that.
you need to up your sensitivity on you, or don't drop there or drop here. It's like
Have you heard of this ninja guy that he's like the Fortnite
you
guy?
mean the biggest
He
streamer
said
on
the-
Twitch? Have you heard
I don't
this
know, man.
guy?
I'm not a gamer.
No, he makes like
He's
I
a
think
streamer.
I
That's
think
different.
the last projection I heard was he makes like $500,000 a month. Like think about that.
And this is all just off of like
Gaming.
Streaming,
the
yeah,
gaming.
just Twitch, YouTube. I don't know if he does YouTube.
He
Does-
started, I'm
You
pretty
know,
sure.
back in the day,
but he's
all
known
those
for Twitch.
parents and teachers that would just tell you need to stop playing video games. And
never
nowadays,
done
like these kids are making millions
Honestly,
of dollars playing video games. This is crazy.
I would consider myself a gamer, but and as a kid, it would always be cool to get. It would have been cool to get paid. But honestly, now that sounds like a stressful AF job. Like I would not.
like
wanna
gaming
do
is
this.
fun, but when you have to do it as your job,
Yeah.
that's when it gets difficult.
Like I don't play games like I used
or
to.
does
play,
it? I don't know.
I used to play games kind of as like a way, like it was like, okay, like this is a test. This was like a representation of how good I was as like a human being. Like, oh, I was such and such a
Wow.
rank on like Halo. If I won
I
this
didn't
game,
know that.
I'd feel better. Well, not like that seriously.
Well, I'm level 52. What are you?
Yeah,
Therefore,
exactly.
I'm an awesome human being.
But now it's kind of just like win or lose, like I don't really get too. I mean, I get mad at Mario Kart if I lose. Not like,
He said
but
Mario Kart.
like I don't really like if I lose. Like if I'm playing like like Fortnite or Halo, like or Overwatch, like. If I'll have friends who will be getting so like mad and into it. And I'm just kind of like I'm just happy to be here. All right, I got this game for $30. Like let's just have fun.
It's funny you say that because like the guys that I play with are like two extremes.
Yeah,
you have like Cameron where he's like, oh man, I guess better luck next time, and then you have like Mike who's like, crap. He throws
they
the
get
controller.
super, like if you are yelling by yourself in your room, you're very devoted to it.
Listen,
No, I yell.
Because I'll be in my room and all of a sudden I hear Jordan just like, I'm like, I can't even say it, like just yelling at the top of his lungs. I'm
Just
like,
like
our
you're
neighbors
yelling
must
into
think
the
we're like
microphone.
just fighting all the time. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I've mentioned it yesterday. I was like, there's a lot of things that have saved your TV because there's been some emotional times where I've almost thrown that controller at that TV.
It can get very emotional, just gaming in general. But I think it's like as long as you don't take it too seriously, like that's when
It's the middle ground, man. Once you
Yeah.
get better, you're like, okay, now I like hold myself up to that standard. When I first started playing, first off, I'm big into Call of Duty. Like that's my stuff.
it's a completely different
like
game.
and
should play
so
Call of
right,
Duty after this.
right. Like so you go from Call of Duty, which is first person, to
quick.
playing Fortnite, where I'm like literally watching the little person. I'm like, oh crap, what am I doing?
You got
is that
one
a person?
life.
What is that?
You die, it's over.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean?
It's not run and gun like Call of Duty and a lot of other shooters. I mean,
And
it's-
that's how I play. So I get
You
made
got
fun of by Dennis
destroyed.
all the times because I go into situations without a plan, and then I'm dead. And
you
he's
drop
like,
into
bro.
the middle of the map. You drop at what's it, Tilted?
Oh,
you
yeah.
drop at Tilted Towers and just done.
where all my bejeweled while you poop people at? Hey, huh?
said bejeweled
Put your
while you
hands up.
What the hell is he talking?
iPhone games while you're in the
Listen,
bathroom? No.
Jewel.
I mean, when
Tiny Tower?
when I was in college, I was definitely Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. Sorry, I don't
dip
know why I said
out,
bejeweled.
And I'd be like, "Yo, like, prof, can I use the bathroom real quick?" And they'd be like, "I don't know why you're asking." And I was like, "Because I don't want to walk in the middle of the class." But I'd go, and then I'd be like there for like 20 minutes.
Remember
Just
Temple Run? Remember
Dude,
Temple Run?
Temple Run, yeah.
I played Temple Run pretty good.
I never got into Temple Run. I'm telling you, it was Tiny Tower. Tiny Tower all the way.
I never what's Tiny
What
Tower?
is tiny? Oh, is that the one where you like tap
build-
and it drops the tower?
No,
or a
so
piece
you
of it?
like you have like floors to the tower, and like you build like new floors, and you get like people to move into your like tower, and like they you employ them at certain spots, and the goal is just to you just build the tower as tall as you can.
Hey, everybody listening, comment on whatever is going on right now. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Let us know like what games did you play
what is
on
the
your
mobile
phone? What's your
game?
iPhone game? Because I need to step my iPhone game
Yeah,
up.
I need a new iPhone game too. Like I was
I'm not
playing.
gonna lie, I still play the Family Guy game.
There's
the Family Guy,
game.
like
It's
the
like
Candy Crush game.
Family Guy.
Wow.
I played that for a while, and then I got to the point where like the levels were way too hard, and then I just quit.
Subway Surfer.
What is this game? I play this snake game.
Yeah, man.
Wait,
Snake
what-
versus Block.
Is it the
Oh,
one?
that game!
Let
I'm
me
looking at
see
it
it.
right now. Yeah, I played this too.
Yeah, I play that.
game's-
I play that game.
I saw an ad for
frustrates
that.
You know the funny thing is though, I'll play that and like my girlfriend will like try to like talk to me and like I'll be in the middle of playing and like she knows when I'm playing because I don't listen to a thing she's saying. That's one of those games you have to be so focused on. Like you can't talk, you can't look away.
Yeah, if you mess up, you're done.
She'd be like, look at this, look at this, look at this.
Look at
This
this."
bachelor person posted this, and I'd be like, I'm sorry, I gotta. You know what I'm doing right now. Like right now, Jordan's playing. He is zoned out.
He's
he is not
not-
listening to a word of
No,
what we're saying.
I'm looking at it, and I kind of tuned you out at the end right there too.
Just watching, like you gotta focus.
Yeah, it's a very. And
You
if
know what I learned? The key to that game is you gotta get the ones with the stars.
Yeah, the star. If you get the star, it's over. Like you can just destroy everything. And like the point is not to get the longest train. It's to get like
as far as possible.
well, it's to eat like as many blocks as you can.
Oh,
like,
true.
Like the more blocks you eat, the more points you get, or something like that.
I got up to like 1,000. I think that's my high score.
Have you ever played?
Oh, shit.
Oh shoot, what is it? I think it's like 4,028 or something like that.
No.
It's like a block, like a grid, and you move around and you try to add the numbers to get into like a certain
Oh, I think
number.
I've heard of that.
I forget. It's not the name of it, but it's something like that. That was super fun. I remember the first time I got it. Like I got so hyped that I beat it and I put it on Instagram and it was just like yes, I did it. I am a man. In your face game, and I don't think anybody cared. If we're being perfectly honest.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I guess
so
to round this back out is, sorry, Hugget.
You're
When it
good.
comes to paying people for teaching Fortnite, you can give us a call. Or
We are down.
2048. That's the name of the game.
oh, you know what? Yeah, I used to play that game too. I used to get real pissed because I questioned whether or not like I knew my math skills.
Nothing like an iPhone game to make you feel like an
Yeah,
idiot.
that's your new frontier for video games. But
All right, well, I think we're going to wrap it there.
Yeah.
This is a pretty successful first podcast. I just wanted to let you guys know we do have a Twitter, Instagram, and we're going to be posting this on YouTube if you're listening on YouTube. Everything should be 100 and then % written out, and then Austin, except for our Twitter. Our Twitter is going to be 100, the numbers, 100% written out, and then ATX instead of Austin.
did we say the name of the podcast at the beginning? Of the
I
podcast?
did say it.
Okay,
yes.
I honestly I feel like I keep forgetting. Like I said this in in episode 0 that we did, kind of like the pre-run. So I just want to make sure we got the.
Yeah, we're 100% Austin. So thank you for listening. We'd love to hear from you guys. What did you want us to talk about? Send us some questions. We'll definitely do a Q&A in one of the upcoming podcasts if you let us know on some questions. So thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you later. See you later, guys. Say
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.